An EG team, you know, looking at the organization's history, has to go into an open qualifier to get into a tournament. You'd expect them to be invited or something like that. But I don't know how many events have run, you know, teams have run the gauntlet straight into the event like that.
Yeah, momentum is good if you can do a gauntlet like that, and momentum will be important, of course, considering the current position of these two teams. Only one will make their way forward. Who's it going to be? We'll start on Ancient, of course. HexTATIC will be on the T side. I'd often say the aggressors, but Ancient's certainly a map that requires CT aggression as well, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of that once the full buy rounds come in. First is the pistol. Julies for EG. On the likes of Junior and George, a fast one into the B bomb site. HexTATIC go. The numbers are here. EG in retake territory then, as they've got 3 players on the rotation from the A bomb site. See Crown poking and prodding around the corner as Hex stands in the smoke. There's one flash in the hands of Walco. Will he get an angle for it? Hex has found an angle himself to drop Crown immediately. Queenix and Nodius playing a bait setup. There's the bait, but can Nodius do anything about this? He needs multi-frags. He'll get them. 2 frags for him. And suddenly it's just Junior versus the world. 1v3. He has a kit. He has a smoke, but he's got to use these guns and find more kills. Another bait setup as we see Max saying hello. Really killing time now as well. It's going to be really hard for Junior to do this one. He pretty much has to full commit here. A headshot from Max, and HexTATIC will take the pistol.
Really nice start for them on the T side. Ancient here going to start working their way into the game. The flash there over the top from Walco, completing that retake or trying to complete that retake for the CT side, just wasn't quite there. You saw the T side play. I don't know if he was anti-flash, but I think it was Salazar swinging in from the backside of the site there. Did not get wide at all, ended up multi-fragging, and I think Walco's flash catching one of his teammates a little bit more than any of the Ts, so even all the good work put in by Hex there, unfortunately, falls by the wayside, and the clutch attempt from Junior is not enough. So EG not necessarily off to the start that they might have desired on the Ancient CT side, but after the changes, I feel like, you know, it's a little bit less CT-sided than it used to be, so might not be too upset about how it's going just yet. Still early days here. It's good to see HexTATIC get off the ground running. They did take T-Pistol, I think, yesterday as well, so that's always a good feeling. I feel like that's always a nerve settler, at least when I used to play and you're starting out T-side on a map. It's always a really, really good feeling to take that T-side pistol and start building yourself up some momentum.
It's great to see such a fast pace at the beginning of a series as well. Just waiting for this tech pause to be resolved.
Yeah, always a few teething issues at the start of the day, but it's still only early days in this best-of-3 series, so fingers crossed. I was actually hoping, there was a lot of like tech pauses over at the RMR. There was a massive tech pause for like a day between Vertex and Rare Atom, and then they played each other yesterday, and I was waiting for the tech pause screen to come up.
I think they're cursed.
Just for the Schadenfreude, you know.
It's the bad combination. Again, I can't help but stare at the keyboards.
Yep. Whose keyboard are you rating today?
Just the lack of full-size keyboards. Because again, you know, I tried to convince people like on the internet for ages that you don't need a full-size keyboard, you don't need a numpad. Like, what about the bybinds and so on? But you have a function key. You hold down the function key, and every key becomes different. You can do whatever you want with a keyboard of this size. It's surplus to requirements. So I'm very happy to see almost everybody with a 10 keyless or smaller.
I feel like the buybinds, there's definitely a tier list of how you buy your guns in CS, right? And I don't think there's a common consensus on this, but I don't know, I don't rate buybinds, but buybinds are not as bad as people who open the buy menu and manually click. That really gets to me. Yeah. And I had a teammate like that. No, that's not allowed.
I miss the plain text menus of old.
True.
Yeah, but I've got to say, like, the only binds I use, I have special binds where, for example, you know, you should have an individual button for every grenade rather than cycling with the number 4, right?
Absolutely.
But what you can do is have one button, let's say for a Molotov, but you can have that button buy a Molotov if you're on spawn and pull out the Molotov wherever you are as well. But the thing is, like, so Valve have kind of nerfed buybinds, or binds in general for some reason in CS2, and that's something, even that doesn't work anymore. But we are into the action again in the second round now. EG will be going for a force buy. Junior's leaving some extra money in the hole for a big green gun later on, one would presume.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's a full investment here.
HexTATIC taking cheater control nice and early on, applying some pressure. You can see EG are anticipating this mid take, and there's going to be a massive fight as they try to disrupt the T-side default here. It's a matter of time. Progression smoke out the top of window. Looking potentially for a bit of a one-way, but after seeing that, HexTATIC, it seems like they're aware that this aggression is a possibility, and they're just really taking their time here and feeling this round out.
Lots of danger lurking in that mid position. You can see how EG is set up for the time being. Walco starting to wonder now, starting to creep forward. Oh, kraghen gets domed immediately by the 5-7. That's the bomb carrier, Manx. He's got to be careful. That could really cause problems if he was to go down there.
Yeah, HexTATIC going to pick up the pace into B, just avoid that mid position. It's just HexT here playing retake, so EG a little out of position, but with a man advantage, still a good shout in this round.
30 seconds on the clock as Hex looks for opportunity. Here's the bomb being planted. But really needs to wait for the team. Now, what will they decide to do here, EG? They are starting to move closer to the site, but as Hex gets dropped, will they commit to this? Because again, with 4 players alive losing position, they can't just go for what would essentially be a second force buy in the next round, rather than all dying and going for the eco.
No kit, and with Walco picking up that Galil as well, they can just drop a 5-7 over to HexT, and it's, as you mentioned, just as dangerous of a buy. As for HexTATIC, though, I mean, they only lost Galil armor in that round. They're going to be quite happy with how it went themselves, you know, not losing too many guns. It's a bit of a stalemate here in round number 2.
Yeah, for a brief moment, it was quite dicey. Saw Max trying to do something in mid. Got flash from somewhere. I could see him carrying the bomb, and that looked pretty scary, but all is well in that camp. So we'll see what the next round looks like. It's quite an interesting mouse that guy's got there.
Which player was that? One of the EG boys?
Yeah. Quite decorated.
Yeah, the paint jobs are pretty crazy these days on some of these mice. I feel like it's a bit of the skin culture bleeding into the peripherals, perhaps.
Yeah, people do custom paint them and so on. Oh, unlucky for Rush. No joy for him in this round. Still a dangerous round for HexTATIC, though. Plenty of dangerous weapons, as Walco will demonstrate.
Thanks. Taking some control of Cheetah with progression utility. He's a little isolated from the rest of the team. HexTATIC turtling in middle after the initial aggression. They're going to go and look to take it, though.
Poking towards mid. Shoulder to shoulder again. Trying to all but guarantee a trade frag should be one be required. And Walco will position himself to avoid that. Try and get a 1v1 and stay alive. And Molly's going to force him into the open, into the light, and he'll be extinguished by the likes of kraghen. 4v3. As George lurks with the Desert Eagle, Queenix may go straight into the angle. Indeed, he does. George can buy time now. There may be help on the way there. There might be smokes up as well. Trying to deliver onto Manx, won't be able to do so. The main threats have gone now. It's still somewhat dangerous, though. Fun scenario, 1v3 with a Mac-10 in the hands of Hex. Lots of pre-fire through the smoke. See what he chooses to do.
Pick a little there if he's thinking about saving that. Yeah, there you go. Even dropping the Mac-10 a little further away to see if he can minimize the sound cue.
What can he do now? Got the money to buy regardless. See what he can do. Won't be much on this occasion. So, all is well in the HexTATIC camp as the real game begins now. Buy round will be coming through. I'll expect we'll see an AWP on the CT side.
100%. And Junior looked like he was in some pretty good form yesterday. In fact, I was quite impressed with what I saw from the majority of the EG boys, especially on that T side, but even a few of the CT rounds against Greyhound. As far as HexTATIC goes, though, as I was saying, you know, before we got into this game, I feel like they didn't even particularly play very well against Complexity, and they still made that a very, very competitive game. I felt like kraghen and Queenix were doing so much heavy lifting. Going to be a quick execute towards A here.
Ooh. No shot fired. Oh, Manx just goes forward. Great timing from HexTATIC. Now, how much will EG invest into this, having lost position? That'll certainly help. Rush gets a kill at range before that bomb is planted. That'll encourage them to continue moving forward. Hex now creeping around the smoke. Will there be flashes? This is collapsing for HexTATIC. They're exiting the bomb site. In the meantime, Nodius has made his way towards B. Long rotation though. Well, let's see what the CTs do.
Yeah, the duel with Walco or HexT is going to be critical here.
That's a big headshot. Really hard to deal with this position. Made it even harder with the Molotov, but Hex considering making a play there, didn't find an angle he was looking for, and now he'll be smoked off. That bomb still making its way, though, very, very carefully indeed. HexTATIC not knowing the climate in the path to the B bomb site. That's how we'll allow EG to get closer. 3v3 retake opportunity for them, should they want to go for it. Junior's got a flash. That may give his teammates better angles. Slowly poking forward as Rush still emerges through that mid position, but his lurk is going to come so late, it might be too late.
Thinking about the save at this point for EG. Rush doing good work, picking down the numbers as they crossed into that A side a little bit lackadaisically. And HexTATIC almost made that a bit of a mistake after such a clean entry onto George on the anchor position. I love what HexTATIC did in that first gun round, though. You know, a lot of the time, especially against a team that you haven't played too much, you don't have that familiarity against on particular maps, you anticipate this slow default. A lot of teams prefer the style. How have EG got away with 2 AWPs there, by the way? That's interesting. You don't see that too often, saving over in the early stages here. I don't think that's something that HexTATIC will be ready for. And with the 3.4 in the bank account, saving a double AWP, you might even consider an M4 drop and go for a bit of a buy round here. But to pick out this point here, the reason why they catch George so unawares is just lack of familiarity with the team. You're anticipating a T-side default first gun round. They threw the mid smokes HexTATIC, and then they just contact straight out the extremity and catch this site anchor completely unawares.
Not quick, but sudden in that round, HexTATIC. This time it will be quick, straight into the B bomb site. And that's always a great counter when there are multiple AWPs. Not that they're aware of that on this occasion, but the effect is the same. Pistols trying to do what they can, but Hex will not be long for this well. Down he goes, and it's just the AWPs that remain. So I think this round has reached its conclusion. Might be a question of whether HexTATIC want to go for a hunt or not at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're still not aware that there's double AWP saved. They probably anticipate at least one, especially with Junior still being alive. I'm really loving the pace changes on this T side, though. The way that HexTATIC is sequencing their T rounds right now, you know, you're going for a slower contact play off the back of, you know, faking a bit of a default, then it's a quick execute on B. This is going to be quite hard for EG to read going forward into this CT side. You're often trying to feel out the other team, think about, okay, how am I going to use my utility at what point in the round? Do they hit, you know, after a slow default into an execute timing and with regularity? At the moment, HexTATIC has hit them with all kinds of different timings, and that's going to be something that's difficult for EG to account for.
It's a fast 5-0 for HexTATIC.
For sure.
Score is matching the pace in the pistol round. Now let's see what these two AWPs will have to offer. Ooh, very nice from Crown.
Spamming out those smokes. Awareness from Nodios. Attack timeout for EG. Need to have a chat about what to do here. Identify what the issue is, but as I was explaining before, you know, there's no real tendency to pick up on HexTATIC. There's a few like small things, but as a coach in this position or as the IGL, you could do a little bit of prep. That's the great thing about versing a team like HexTATIC. Like I explained it yesterday where, you know, when you're playing in a minor region, sometimes there's so much time between tournaments that you don't really have a lot of, you know, tape to go through. There's not VODs, you know, they're not playing a whole lot of officials on certain maps. That's not the case for HexTATIC. They play a lot of officials. They play a lot of, you know, European CS, all of the online tournaments and that kind of stuff. So there is data there for EG to read into if they want to. If they put the prep in, that might give them an idea of how to approach this next round, as opposed to what's happened in the server so far.
You can see Junior posted up very aggressively. A change of pace from HexTATIC, and maybe there's a chance for EG. These kind of angles, always a nasty surprise.
Yeah, EG very much trying to contest this mid and lane control. You can see them heavily set up in that part of the map, playing retake on A. Progression utility going to keep that AWP at arm's reach for the time being. New to what Junior can offer in this round.
Have a look at the positioning of HexTATIC here. Posturing for maybe a split of the B bomb side so far. Not so good as Rush finds two. Proving to be very important for EG on this map so far. But will it be enough for them to get their first round? They've got the man advantage for now. Still a minute on the clock for HexTATIC.
Refresh of a smoke on ramp. They're going nowhere fast right now, James. Just sitting. Seems like they're going to wait around for the right timing. Double up the riflers through cheetah side. But you can see the Molotov ready here for Walco. That's going to put a lot of pressure on this round.
30 seconds remain. They have to trade that frag. Phoenix needs to get away from those mollies as well. He'll be stuck for a while. Traffic jam as his teammate Salazar will give him some space with a smoke grenade. Can start to slink in now, but the pre-fire from Hex is beautiful through the smoke. A great punish, leaving Salazar in the clutch. 15 seconds to try and get a bomb plant, but have a look at this. We've got a traffic jam. Down Hex goes. 10 seconds remain into the molly to try and find a bomb plant. He may find himself a good enough angle. Rush is on the way. I want to talk to you about your car insurance, says Rush. And he will get the frag, and EG will get their first round.
Had an option to retain that double AWP. I'm not sure if Rush actually picked it up at the end of the round there from the pillar side. Sometimes, you know, you show the double AWP once and then you want to go back to full rifle. So I'm interested to see if that's what EG have gone for. I mean, Rush getting away with murder there, catching a player with nade in hand. And even yesterday against Greyhound, he was in some pretty good form.
Single sniper for EG. And let's see how HexTATIC changed the pace or if they'll continue as they did in the last one.
Look at George. This fight on the extremity is so important, and that's massive for EG to find a pick that early on. So aggressive in that anchor roll. That's really going to start to change up how the HexTATIC player on the T side plays on the wing. You know, one round the anchor pushes you.
Oh, just sort of fist Salazar. Couldn't make the connection. Would have been enough.
That's another thing in CS2 I heard. Don't they have a option in the menu so that you don't remove your silencer anymore if that's what you wish?
Indeed they do.
That's a thing of beauty, honestly.
Right, HexTATIC need to find a play here. Need to have something go their way, and that's certainly a good start. That closes the eyes as far as mid is concerned, although Rush and George will be active. They'll be responsive to that. Molly will force them away. Great spatial awareness as the B bomb site's also been taken. EG with 2 round the back. But how do these 2 mid players get involved? Kraghen can keep entertaining them as they start edging forward, wondering where the lurker is. Not making any sound just yet. There's Kraghen now. Fake flash from him. Not going to work out, and George will punish. 4-on-3 retake then for EG. They've got kits for days, but can they get the kills? Flashes on both sides will slow things down a bit. They still have time, however. Hex moving into stronger angles, more aggressive. Banks has been seen out, hiding in plain sight. Molly is here, still delaying this push from EG. Now things are getting desperate. They need to find a lot of frags in a short space of time, EG. I think this one's over already.
Just too late with the mid flank, unfortunately. Couldn't quite put the pieces back together. Nodios goes down with the bomb, but that's not really a big concern for HexTATIC. And you can see, I mean, the expression on the coach's face says it all. This T side is going excellent right now. Got plenty of cash to replace all of those weapons. EG with the saves and the loss bonus built up, though, will easily be able to put together another gun round here. But they're starting to let this game get away with them, away from them, rather.
I think the panel were expecting a one-sided affair on Ancient, and that seems to be the case thus far.
I mean, you know, to give EG a little bit of credit, though, not too long that this roster's kind of been put together. Probably haven't had a lot of time to put their map pool together. Super convincingly work out all the roles. And fine-tune everything. Core of HexTATIC playing together for, I think, the majority of them 8 months or so, and then one recent addition thrown in there. But they look like a well-oiled machine. That's all those reps, even in the last 3 months. So many maps of Counter-Strike played online.
Support flashes into mid. You can see the CT's running backwards to avoid those, getting to aggressive positions. Mid secured for now then. Lovely angle onto Crown. That's a big frag to get.
Man, George has been so good at finding the opening pick on the CT side. That's going to be a big boon to any team. If your rifler can get aggressive, put you at an early man advantage, you don't even need your AWPer to put those kind of kills together necessarily. You can have multiple different options for aggression on that CT side, and so far he's been so reliable with it. But can EG close this 5-on-4? Junior's over on the wing this time, locking down that A side of the map. They've got a bit of a crossfire in towards Donut. So B is the weak side of the map right now.
A sudden attempt it is then from HexTATIC. The bomb goes first, and there's time, just a few seconds for a rotation from these CTs. Walco manages to find the gap, and Salazar can do nothing about that. He'll drop Junior in the meantime, but this is so awkward for him. One of two remaining players for HexTATIC, and the second one comes in from the back, turns into a bait setup then, and now we're down to a 2-on-2. George waiting for a bomb plant attempt maybe, or even preempt it with his incendiary. That'll buy them some extra time. Salazar spotted. Look how he protects himself as well, trying to avoid going down, but he can't help rush. George with 19 HP then, last seen in CT, will change his approach. Thinking better of it maybe. A long journey, shift walking. Can't really take a duel versus these players.
Trying to min-max the economy if possible. Obviously can't save over an AWP. Might even look for an exit. If you can catch the AWPer exiting B here, that would actually put a fair bit of a dent in the economy of HexTATIC.
Yeah, can't get too close to that explosion, of course. Maybe he'll get what he's looking for. Salazar on the way. Let's wait for the explosion. The bomb will send it his way anyway.
I'm really enjoying watching George play, to be honest. He's found multiple opening picks on the rifle, and then you see stuff like that where he's just cerebral about it. He's thinking about going for it, or maybe can I get close enough to save an ult? And he finds the 1% play where he rotates all around the map, and the AWPer rotates off ramp, and he's actually able to save an AWP over for his CT side AWPer, just with that little exit.
Seven to 1 for HexTATIC. Always know what to expect in the chat when the score is 7-1.
Not at this tournament, no Brazil representation, unfortunately.
It doesn't matter to the chat. it's happening regardless.
Look at EG, they've taken all B control. Big firebomb over towards lane. HexTATIC respond by throwing the mid smokes, taking control over there. Queenix and Nodios having a think about maybe contacting out the A side of the map after a bit of B pressure, or a bit of a mid pressure rather. It's actually going to be an A split that this turns into here.
George will try and make some space for himself if he drops his smoke grenade. For now, he's going to say hello. There's the smoke now. It's going to make it really hard for the T's to clear this bomb site. Playing over the smoke as Salazar will deliver over that. He was ready for the peak. EG find themselves in a 3v2 situation. That is a hell of a flashbang onto Junior. 45 seconds for Salazar and Crown to find something. He's got Hex lurking. He's got the sound cues and a free kill and a bomb. Exactly what EG need as they try to mount a comeback in this first half. Round stuck in mid then with 30 seconds. He's got 2,700 in bank. At this point, he might be having to save.
Yeah, big rotation around. Similar to what we saw George do previously. He might just be looking for a kill or two, perhaps, but quite happy to save in the water there. So EG, nice little response from them. Good rotations in the mid-round to catch that bomb carrier outside of A. And they're chipping in a round or two here, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to be enough. Especially, you haven't necessarily put up enough rounds on your CT side. It's going to put a lot of priority on you grinding this game back on the T side. And, with a couple of recent additions to the roster, changing around the roster a little bit, and not a whole lot of repetitions on the wide part of the map pool, that's going to leave the, IGL duties, Walco and the boys to, freestyle a little bit without that deep of a playbook. Can be done, but not necessarily easy, especially against a team like HexTATIC, who has got so many reps on a big, wide variety of maps. Oh, great HE chip damage this time from EG over towards lane. Walco seeking to contest Cheetah in tandem with HexT. A lot of players on this B side of the map. EG just pretending the A side doesn't exist.
Those sounds can be heard by the CTs. To no avail though. Walco takes one in the face. There is a response, but look at the angle that Salazar's holding. Nodius here as well. That's an important frag from George. Uncomfortable situation, but they've turned things around very quickly, EG. They're a man to the good now. See this rotation from HexTATIC as they take aggressive map control, and they need to with only 3 players remaining. Both sides lurking for info as Crown drops rush in mid. Numbers even now. Long rotation for Hex as he wonders what is around him. The answer is no one. Has Junior been spotted just yet? He will deliver the flick straight into the face of Queenix. Bomb planted. Where is Crown? They know one plays on the site, but what of the other one? Eating the flashbangs. Got much work to do with 2 players coming his way. So much util as well. George will be traded by Hex. His job's been done then. Salazar in the clutch. 1 versus 2. Trying to take a 1v1 if he can find it. You can see Junior creeping. It's awkward for the CTs as well. AK and an AWP. That molly will certainly help though. Gets his bell rung. The pre-fire is here from Salazar, but the trade again from Hex. Did all he needed to do, and EG will find a third.
Great molly from HexT, and without the loss bonus built up for HexTATIC, that's actually a massive clutch for him to put together. That's a reset round for EG, which will give them a great chance to start cracking back into this game here, James. Anti-eco here, if they can convert that, keep enough guns up, then this could be a much more competitive half than what it started as. And George is just putting in work every round, man. The impact this guy's having is pretty insane already.
Yeah, that was a very clutch round for George. Especially around the B bomb site. Big swing situations, and again, this one's going to be a quick one from HexTATIC, but EG will respond very well indeed. The change flashes will be great. Salazar running in blind, trying to create some space, but into the vacuum they go. Hex with 4 of the kills there. Very nice hold from EG. Quick response, great support, and a strong round.
Yeah, money wasn't great there for HexTATIC. You know, they're in that kind of 3 to 4K kind of situation. Tried to go for a mix of Galils and Mac 10s on the force buy because it came down to a XVX situation. EG was quite broke after picking up a couple of rounds. So HexTATIC really trying to go for that reset round. And if they had managed to pick up that round off the back of that quick B execute, they would have completely broken EG's money and run away with this half. Probably would have been double digits, but EG slapping that one away, keeping all the guns up, is going to make this game super, super tight here. HexTATIC will, after this tack pause, likely have to take a single eco, try to do some economic damage, and then crack in with some more gun rounds later on.
Yeah, this is a big window of opportunity for Evil Geniuses. No slip-ups here. This is the comeback. Weren't expected to do much here on Ancient. Now is the chance to contradict that prediction.
It's going well on the CT side. Got to reserve our expectations with what they can put together on the T side, but so far so good. I think that's the thing about this EG roster is, you know, got a lot of experienced players, got a lot of solid players. That's a hell of a shot from Manx to open things up though. Surely you don't lose to pistols here. Nice tag from Junior. A lot of pressure going to be on George in Donut right now, though, as the split starts to come in.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity, and we can see that the CTs are prioritizing concern in that mid position. But as they are dealing with Manx, they're being pulled away from the A bomb site. George will have to wait for his team to get into position, but they're doing that very quickly indeed. Junior's on the way. Walco will say hello. Nothing to lose now for HexTATIC. They've got a kill and they've planted the bomb. That's pretty much mission achieved for a round such as this. Anything else is a bonus. Not too much harm done then for EG.
Good stuff from HexTATIC. Cementing their economy going forward as we head into round number 13. A couple of rounds of play left, and EG stabilizing their economy, going to make sure they're going to have some plenty of gun rounds to play with late into this half. And HexTATIC with that plant and some loss bonus building up, I dare say they should be relatively fine for at least 2 of the rounds. EG starting to figure them out a little bit, and that's, like I said yesterday, what I love about a tournament like this. Get all these teams from different regions, got to figure out each other on the fly. Aggression from George again, goes 1 for 1, and HexTATIC going to cancel that.
Bunching together. You see Rush trying to play safe as he can. There's a denial of information from Nodius. Not sure how many players Rush may have seen there. But now what is the mid to late round from HexTATIC? With only 4 players, it's going to be hard to get your lurk action going, especially with Manx on 2 HP as well.
Yeah, they're playing like hide and seek in middle right now. Waiting for the rest of HexTATIC to link up around the whole map and maybe start making their way towards a bit of a B split. EG in this 4-on-4 though, you'd expect them to look for information somewhere perhaps. Try to stay active. They've got an info line in middle, and I dare say there'll be an aggression into middle from the riflers at some point. The question is just when.
Did they double smoke mid?
Top mid, perhaps, yeah. No util. It's just going to have to be a bit more of a contact play or just a flash over the top of cave.
That might be enough as EG are holding somewhat passive angles there. Walco being very careful. Max only had 2 HP, and now he's got 0. Great vision for Walco then, as there's no util to cover these angles anymore. HexT will be traded and Walco will deliver one more. 17 seconds in a 1v3 for Crown. Might be a question of damage for him. That's a nice headshot. And maybe he's given himself a chance, although Rush is closer than he's expecting. Rush again, the key man for EG at the end of the round.
With no plan as well. Salazar with the ult purchase. Only going to have 3.6. Going to have to skip a couple of key pieces of utility this round for HexTATIC. Not the biggest issue in the world. Seeing a bit more of a well-rounded performance from most of them yesterday. Queenix was quite key on Nuke against Complexity. Bit of a quieter T side this time around, but that can happen. Pretty well-rounded performance from EG today. Good to see. Mid-aggression. Potentially on the cards for George. He's been so active around the map. I'm loving watching this guy play. Here's the mid-smokes from HexTATIC though.
Crown's been important on the lurk, doing solo tasks for HexTATIC. Got Manx for support for the time being as he gets closer to that mid position. Knows his gaps as well. So great map control from the T side so far, but there is going to be a response from EG as we can see a push through B.
Smoking off Cheetah, retaking territory and forcing HexTATIC to work for it later in the round, and they will probably have to do that, seeing the bomb start to trend towards the ramp side and over the lane. Maybe Queenix activating as an aggressive lurk, or maybe Crown through top mid at some point. You can see just how far back EG are, respecting this map control taken by the Ts.
Where is that bomb going, though? There's a lot of time on the clock here. Keep an eye on it, because it's Max who's showing a lot of presence. He's 3 players on the B bomb site, one of which is fragged. That's got to be a big green light towards A then. Be a 4v2 in that situation. Now George finds himself stuck in CT, making his way over towards A as the bomb's getting planted. Surely going to have to wait for his teammates to rotate. It's going to be a long journey for Walco. Wondering about a lurker in mid, as there often can be. It's going to slow him down a lot. See Queenix waiting for a peek, switched out for an AWP. George may force him off the angle. Still creeping now as Walco heads towards the donut. Nodius on the other side. What will the timing be like? That clock is ticking once again. They've all got kits, but again, they've got to find these frags and quickly. That's the failed one in the donut, and Salazar will deliver also. Queenix spots that last player, and HexTATIC are going to head towards 8 rounds here.
Chipping in a couple extra at the end of the half after such a great start is good to see. You can see they're really starting to play with the conditioning that they've set up earlier on in the half against EG, starting to run fakes, starting to try and push and pull the rotations and find the right reads. It's been great to watch these HexTATIC T sides. I feel like they have a lot of depth. I feel like the calling and the structure is quite good. They're unafraid to allow the individuals to go for lurks and give a lot of responsibility to certain players to make those mid-round reads. Aggression into middle from EG.
Oh.
He wants more, James. Playing the one-way here.
Oh, and he gets what he's looking for as well. I like the preemptive HE on the other side. Walco will take one through the woods. These guys know their angles so well. Such efficient counter-strike we're seeing in that respect.
Credit to George this round as well. That's the 3rd round this half that he's found the opening pick for his team as a rifler. Mid-take now from HexTATIC. Following out Cubby, trying to limit the info that EG has access to. Is going to pull an additional rotation away from B. So HexTATIC maybe with a bit of a window here.
Bunching up now. Bomb has been waiting for the reinforcements. And again, EG very concerned, very focused on that mid position. That denial of information will have them somewhat out of position as the push comes in towards B. The smokes are up for HexTATIC. EG waiting for the mollies. We're going to see a preemptive strike from them. Well, that's one way to do it. Hex is finding a kill through the smoke onto Manx. 4 on 3 before that bomb is planted. Look at these angles. They are so good for EG. There's more work to be done. Replenishing the smokes now. Just need to avoid these angles from Hex because he is a problem, even behind the smoke. Clock is ticking again, but they're way closer. Nodius may have a well-timed molotov here. He's got to be careful about his timing. That might just be good enough. That's so awkward. Look how that's pushed them back. It's the last round as well. They've got to go for this. Continuing to tick now as Nodius will come through and drop Raj. Salazar taking George down. Tide is changing in HexTATIC's favor. Junior will get a kill, but I don't think he's going to get this round. Put out of his misery almost. That's a great no-scope. He'll get all the frags, pad the stats, but it will be 9-6 to halftime for HexTATIC. Things getting explosive towards the end. Pistol is around the corner.
It's when the morning glows, I cannot hide myself from you. It's when my feeling grows, I'm coming back to you. When I step out, when I step out, when I step out, when I step out of the light, I come into the light. I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? And hey, do you think I can stay? 'Cause I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? When I'm with you, I cannot sleep at night, 'cause in my mind there's only you. When I step out, when I step out, when I step out, when I step out of the light, I come into the light. I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? And hey, do you think I can stay? 'Cause I will be happy, happy, happy. How could I not be, not be, not be? When I'm with you, you, you. When I'm with you, speak to me, your silence spoken. Share with me your heart's desire. Hey, shout it out in words unspoken. Shout it out above. When I step out of the
Nine to 6 in favor of HexTATIC as we move into the second half. Pistol. Maybe Evil Genius is exceeding expectations for now, but how far can they go on this map of Ancient? It's time to find out.
really going to force them to dig deep into their T side. I mean, it all starts with the pistol, but I'm interested to see whether they have that depth. And if they don't, how does the IGL and some of the other boys put the T side together without a whole lot of prac and without a whole lot of repetitions? It's quick pacing, straight up lane into cheetah here from EG.
Almost leading with the bomb there. Hex will drop it to Rush as he looks to be the initial engager. Everybody jiggling. Nice pre-fire. You know both these teams are dab hands with the pistols as well. Manx will be the one to get started with two. Those Julies are getting to work now. Kraghen with a third one. And HexTATIC are charging this pistol round. EG utterly deleted.
That's clean. They just absolutely swarmed the site. Evil Genius thought they were executing on the site and they were getting executed on. Reminds me of what the boys on HexTATIC did against Complexity yesterday. It feels like whenever the execute comes in, you know, some teams on the CT pistols, they love to play the angles with the USPs, sit back, try to chip headshots in and wait for those rotations to come in. It feels like HexTATIC, when you execute them on the T-side pistol, they just run at you before you can even get comfortable and headshot you. And it seems to be working pretty well. Full save here for EG, no bomb plant. A little bit harder to force buy in that regard.
Manx with the French gun.
What do you think about the FAMAS? I think it's horrible. When I used to play, I would be like, I would never touch that. I'd be like buying an MP9, even if I was playing like top mid on Ancient.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll play close with the MP9. Take the moving accuracy over the awkward feeling of the FAMAS. Maybe it just lacks identity. That might be the issue with it.
Would love to see something changed up about it in CS2. Something I do love about different choices of other tactical FPSs. I feel like there is a place for a gun a little bit cheaper than the main choice of the gun rounds. It's a debate for another time, though, as we head into the first gun round. EG, with no bomb plants, going to be a little bit more limited on utility, perhaps a bit more pigeonholed into what they can achieve in towards a round like this. Only 3 mollies and a little bit limited on the flashes on some of the individuals. So harder to run a bit more of a prolonged, drawn-out default. A little bit of utility invested towards middle just to keep them honest. Walco applying pressure at lane. Flash over the top to send Hex out middle. EG are spread picking the map. Are investing small pieces of utility here. Feels like they're trying to feel out HexTATIC right now. Draw out counter utility from the counter terrorists.
They've got such a good spread as well across the map and mid. They've got so much control. HexTATIC are really lacking information. They don't even have presence in Donut at the moment, the CTs.
EG have done a lot with a little this round. You know, 4 or 5 grenades invested across the map and they've got so much control here. That's cheeky. Is it going to work though?
A stalemate. At some point, EG going to have to put the foot on the gas. And it seems that might be happening. Walco finds 2 over towards the B bomb side. But again, they are spread everywhere. 38 seconds. They could rotate if they want to.
Wow.
That was a hell of a round.
It was. It's like I said, you know, 5 or 6 grenades. They spread picked the map so well. Walco applying pressure towards lane and that B side of the map. 2 of the boys working the A side of the map. And then 2 of the boys, I think it was HexT, who was offered supportive utility for him to just take some control of middle. He was flashed out of the left side mid smoke, then hid behind the boxes for the CT re-aggression. Another flash goes over the top. EG just very, very limited util usage, but efficient, really efficient. Tack timeout now for HexTATIC, and after the bonus round where they get absolutely slammed, there's really not a huge incentive to force in here because EG just had such a clean round. There's no reset potential. This CT half is going to be a slog either way, so you may as well play the long game.
I don't think they can afford a repeat of a lack of a map control on the CT side like that. Again, Ancient requiring some of the more aggressive plays from CTs at the beginning.
I don't really like this personally. I don't like this decision to force. but maybe they're anticipating that they have to double eco anyway. So they may as well just give it a crack. This is kind of their pseudo save round, if that makes sense. They're sequencing in the buys. They've done the math. Lane aggression in from Nodios. Flashes are good. Look at this, hiding inside the smoke. Rush. Can he get out?
Oh, this is a complete mess. Crikey. So many flashes to and fro in the smoke, and it continues. Jesus, like, this is absolute chaos around the bomb site. There's no other way to describe it, and it's going to continue then. Max can't get his rifle ready after the flashbang, and suddenly we're in a 3 versus 2. What in the blazes has just happened? Not even over just yet, with Crown moving into position. Really trying to hunt that frag down. Even if he fragged HexT, don't think he would have had anything left for the trade frag, but Queenix is here with the 5-7. But he was here.
Awkward.
You're not going to see many rounds like that.
That round was weird. Felt like I was witnessing a fight with like wet pool noodles. They're just flailing around. That is a reset though on the CT economy. The force buy, look, does a little bit of damage. And that fight from Crown in towards Cheetah is exactly why I hate the FAMAS. I feel like he sprayed his whole clip, brought HexT down to like 22 HP, and then HexT just wide peak one taps him. That feels bad as Crown. You're 100% hitting the console and reading the damage report. And then realizing, oh, this gun is absolutely horrific. EG, free real estate at B for them. And George, how much of a stat patter are you? That's the question here.
Bomb has been planted.
Done his job. I'm really curious to see the next round from HexTATIC.
Yeah.
We did see an aggressive play in that round prior, which almost got there, but the util just gave Rush enough space to hide when he needed to.
Salazar's been quite responsible with his economy, making sure that he can buy up and all. Nice supportive flashbang. It wasn't necessary, really, but they do it anyway. Just dotting the I's, crossing the T's, even smoking off the tunnel.
I'm curious about this one now. What we've seen so far in this half has made me very curious.
I mean, this is honestly a great start for EG. Even if you don't necessarily have that deep of a playbook on an Ancient T side and you're not super comfortable playing the map, which is just me projecting what I think is the state of their team, might not actually be the reality. A start like this will actually hide that a little bit. You're putting pressure on the CT economy, you're constantly resetting them, and you have plenty of money, which means that even if things don't go well, even if you don't make the right call, you've got plenty of chances to get it right. You can just keep buying and trying something else.
In goes Rush, clearing the wrong side though. A stroke of fortune for Manx. Look at all the util again, is somewhat stuck, trying to get around the corner in time, and just about does. EG will have to settle for some map control.
Yeah, gets dunked by Walco, but Manx, job done for him, smoking off Cheetah. Finding the opening pick with the FAMAS over on lane side is exactly what you want to see from the player in that role. And now EG without a whole lot of map control. Salazar's on a deep info line from Donut. Queenix hasn't heard anything over towards A, so I'm surprised that Crown is actually rotating over towards the A side of the map. I guess HexTATIC, this must be a protocol from them, right? They get the man advantage, they play retake B, I guess.
So committed on the A bomb site. Seems they're not interested in aggression around mid. In the rounds we've seen so far, HexTATIC. That might change later. But for now, on the 5v4, wonder who's on the back foot as EG continues to approach this bomb site. The utility is going to be here, but there is going to be plenty of retake util for HexTATIC. I'm sure they're confident with the numbers on the retake. Bomb plant will help keep the money good for the T side though, and that's been achieved now as Junior delivers on Nodius. 4-on-4 with Crown on a long flank. What happens in the meantime on the bomb site? There's another free one for Junior. Queenix are trying to get into position to throw a grenade there. If you were waiting to play the retake, you need to do something better than this. 3 on 3 now. Kraghen in position. That bomb is ticking though. And only Manx has got a kit here. Kraghen delivering 2 from the back, and it seems it might just work out for them. But look at his health. He's got 13 HP. Can Walco find the angle? He's too far to the left. The reload won't help either. Kraghen distracting. And that bomb's been defused. There's a kill onto Manx, but all too late.
That's the worst way to win a round as HexTATIC. Look, they played for the retake, and it does end up working out with for them. Kraghen again showing why he's having so much impact at this event. He's kind of been the bright patch for HexTATIC out of all of the boys, I would say. Constantly delivering multi-frags, especially CT side. He was fantastic against Complexity on Nuke. But like I said, winning with one player surviving when you're trying to, you know, break up the momentum from EG's T side is the worst way to win a round. So taxing on your economy, but Kraghen again having impact, opening pick. That's the second or third time in the last couple of gun rounds that HexTATIC have found an opening pick with one of their riflers. That's again going to put pressure on EG to try to convert this 4 on 5.
Very curious as to what Salazar and Manx might be up to. Again, in the last round, we said how passive they have been as far as mid has been concerned. Oh, the timing for Junior will be okay, it seems. Salazar will get dropped then.
Oh, this mid aggression is going horrifically for HexTATIC. They had a man advantage.
Yeah, and I feel like they've been trying to maybe set up a change in pace with mid in the rounds prior where they've abandoned it. Suddenly emerging, and EG haven't assumed anything. They're ready for it completely. Put themselves in a very nice spot indeed. And as you said, that last round surviving with 1 means that the problems will be compounded here. They really need to win this round. Even surviving with 3, if they are to lose it, it's still gonna suck. Lots of pre-fire. Nobody finds anything for Rush.
Kraghen trying to find that timing on lane. They're gonna save. Too low percentage, too much risk involved. Gonna see what they can put together with a 3-man save. I don't know what the loss bonus is looking like. I think it was 2.9, but might be misremembering. Either way, EG, exactly like you said, they were ready for that mid re-aggression. And I feel like in general, they've been playing quite a slow-tempered T-side, and that's really been working for them because HexTATIC, even after finding the initial pick with their aggression, they sprayed HexT through the smoke that round. The previous round, Manx found a pick over on lane side. The initial aggression has been going well for HexTATIC, but the way they're playing the mid to late round, I feel like they're overcomplicating things a little bit. I wasn't a big fan of the B retake protocol that they went for. Kraghen kind of bailed them out of that one, and they were able to still clutch it out. But especially that mid re-aggression that round, I could see what they were trying to go for, but it didn't work against EG. But like I said, sometimes that's what can happen at an event like this. You play out the same protocols, you play the same way online over in Europe against certain teams, and it works out, and then you come to an event like this against a team from a completely different region with a different style, and suddenly the puzzle pieces that fit so perfectly are completely misaligned.
Again, EG poking in multiple directions. Creeping forward quietly.
I'd be interested to see if this is, you know, something that EG discussed, particularly against HexTATIC. They've been playing very slow on T side. And like I said, there's a lot of data, a lot of reps on all kinds of maps for HexTATIC. So you can go and find out how they play. You can prepare for this match. So is this EG's normal T-side style, or is this particularly prepared for HexTATIC?
No real engagement from either team just yet, as we are sub 1 minute now. And presence will be shown over towards B. You can see what's happening on the radar. You can also see this double peak setup from HexTATIC. How long will they hold for? They've got Salazar, who has an angle on mid, so there's no need for them to reposition, but Kraghen can see some movement on the radar.
I actually love this setup just because of how limited their util is. This is probably the best way to try and hold this site.
There we go. That's exactly what they were looking for. And at the same time, the double peak is activated. Look at the number advantage. Disappears pretty quickly. 20 seconds for Junior jumping, see what's happening. He will run distraction. Oh, no. He's blind, and he's going to be barbecued. That is the bomb too far away from Walco. He won't be able to do much here. 9 seconds on the clock now. Oh, he saw 2 of them, but he was taken down by the 3rd, and that will be good enough.
Again, though, Walco and Junior keeping it expensive. Taking 3 guns away from the CTs in a round that didn't go well. Pacifist approach to the early round, and EG going to have a chat here with attack timeout. Feels like they're really trying to get a read on HexTATIC, and HexTATIC, that's something I love about this team so far. You know, I've only seen so many games, but it seems like their style is they really do like to mix up the approaches. T side, I love the way they're sequencing their rounds, going from slow to very, very quick executes. And then CT side, that's a perfect example of it. They went from being super active, aggressive on lane, aggression into middle, mixed up from the early to the mid round. And then that round, they just play super passive and trust the crossfires. And EG walks straight into it.
Heading towards the clutch rounds now.
This is actually a pretty big swing round for both teams. You can see Junior quite poor, as is HexT. HexTATIC are quite broke as well, and neither one of these teams have got great loss bonus right now. This could be HexTATIC putting the game on the silver platter here, or EG evening up the scoreline.
Again, HexTATIC not terribly concerned with this mid position. Queenix forced into the open. A close duel won by HexT. Kraghen is here as well. Now, this is a problem for HexTATIC with only 4 players remaining. All of mid is compromised. They saw one towards red. So I have to keep an eye on that. Still be spread out somewhat. Facility still being dumped now. As you can see, Nodi is holding down 2 jobs.
The EG just cutting the brakes with the man advantage. They were anticipating aggression from HexTATIC. HexTATIC instead going to leave Crown alone in Donut and 3-stack this B site. Which does give them a chance to maybe defend this B execute.
Very good timing for their util as well. This is going to kill the clock and force EG's hand, and teams are going to send it now with these numbers. They'll get the opening there from George, ever dependable George. 24 seconds. HexTATIC could try and make a play here as the bomb looks to get planted, but Walco will punish Nodius for trying to spray. Salazar won't find an angle on the bomb planter, so it's game on. HexTATIC with only 2 players remaining. We'll make it a 2v3 then, with Hex being dropped. Salazar's the one with a kit. Got to wait for the smoke to go. Horrible angle for Salazar, leaving Crown alone in the clutch with 13 HP. Not going to be given much of anything. He might try and rescue the AWP here, but I don't think he's going to rescue this round.
Really good stuff on this T side for EG. They're going to make this game really tight. They break the CT money there. That's a hard reset on multiple players. HexTATIC might even be double eco on 2 or 3 of these lads, and that puts them in a very strange position in this game. 1,400 for Nodios, 1,500 for Queenix, 1,900 for Salazar, who wants to try and purchase himself an AWP. This is not the economic position you want to be in.
Fast eco round is a good eco round. This just might be a fast one. They can wipe out the rest of this squad. It's going to be fire on the next of HexTATIC then, as EG continue to close the gap.
They're playing very well. The economy is stable now on the T side. I hate playing these positions as a CT. You're in a super tight game where the T side has a lot of momentum, has a lot of cash, and you have to win some clutch rounds, otherwise you're going to find yourself economically reset. Not only do you have to win those rounds, but you have to win them relatively convincingly, otherwise you can find yourself in a position where, number one, you drop a key important round and you find yourself broke and you just lose the game because you can't, you know, put the pieces together with a 2 to 3k kind of buy. Famisys and MP9s don't get the job done. Or you win these rounds, but they're in really, really tight clutch situations and you only get 3.5 for the win and you're trying to play with limited util. Either which way, it's not ideal.
George expecting some presence in mid eventually, as there is a gun to look for. And Nodius will look for it.
That's the one flash he bought, and he was actually one of the players that was double eco. Didn't really end up having a lot of impact. Don't think that $200 investment was particularly wise.
I wasn't going to say anything about it. I was just going to leave it alone.
I'm the color caster, James, okay? You didn't have to say anything. It's all right.
Feels tense.
I don't think they
This
can
first
buy.
map.
Yeah, it is tense. Yeah, they can't buy. They are double eco. That's the worst. I hate that.
Some pistols and a cameo appearance from an MP9. A small offering to the gods.
A back crown. I might even drop him an M4 the way he's been playing on CT side this game.
Phoenix has been quiet, 5 for 18.
He had a great, that's what I said. He had a great game on Nuke. I felt like HexTATIC against Complexity were almost trying to 2-on-5 between Queenix and Crown in that first series, and they almost got it done. Is that the lineup, James?
I don't think that's the lineup. No harm done, though. You're going to make a mistake.
Yeah, make it in that situation.
Exactly.
Go back and VOD review that one.
Well then, HexTATIC will be fishing for something. I wonder where Max uses this smoke, if he can find an angle to create some mayhem with it. We'll be busy with the Desert Eagle for now. Continuing to creep out. With late enough timing, he could, invite the T's to die to the bomb at the very least, but they'll be taken care of long before that becomes an issue. 13 apiece then, and we start to wonder who's going to take this first map.
This is getting really tight. Not sure anyone really expected EG to look this good on their T side, but their T side against Greyhound was a similar story. They very much started to turn that game around. Make it look very competitive. They are in the driver's seat, if you ask me. They're favored on this T side. They've got so much cash. They are probably favored to win this game, and it's really up to HexTATIC to start answering the call here. They've been quiet. Mid-aggression from them. Molly into lane as well as kraghen, or Crown rather, tries to jump up and look for the pick, but look at the contact play from EG straight up ramp. 2 for 2, that's messy.
Oh no, the bomb's been dropped, but there is rush to trade. That's quite important. Bomb carrier was busy delivering the flashes into mid to keep them entertained, but rush. What are you up to there? Crown on the side, gets a free kill down to the 1v1 now as Walco moves through the bomb site. Has no idea where Salazar might be coming from, and he has been creeping. So where does Walco focus? Smoke up to give himself some space. Allow him to focus on one angle at a time, and he'll try and make himself as safe as possible. Salazar continues to move through now, but can he find Walco? Where is he off to? Where has he gone? He doesn't have a kit, Salazar, either. He needs to find this kill, and quickly. He'll put a smoke up, and Walco will draw him straight in the face. Very back and forth, but now EG are in the lead.
Do I make a where's Walco joke, or do I just leave it?
I was thinking about it.
That's exactly why I hate chasing these scoreline deficits, or at least trying to break up the momentum on the CT side, because you lose one round and HexTATIC are broke. They have had to take 3 ecos in the last 4 rounds. It's the worst feeling on CT side, and EG just continuing to roll with that momentum now put themselves in touching distance of at least map point if they can complete an anti-eco, unless HexTATIC wants to again do another one of these 3k 4 spies that they did on both T and CT side, and try to dig deep and take a big risk. I think I'd prefer to try and just take the gun round and go for 2 gun rounds back to back instead of trying to throw everything at the wall in this one. But they've surprised me with their decisions to purchase sometimes here and there. Not this time. Sensible half bite. Pistol armor.
Very rough situation for HexTATIC. Trying to invest enough to not concede game point for free.
Just quiet. Oh, hold on.
It's a nice tap from Queenix, and he's been given the space to collect the rifle at the very least, but the bomb is headed elsewhere, and that's more of a priority, but Crown is coming through that deagle. They might not be done with this round just yet. Suddenly, it's so awkward for Junior. That smoke won't be there forever.
The Queenix in middle. That's a really nice flank timing if he comes down lane here.
I smell danger for EG here. Crown trying to find an angle, trying to find something, tagging Junior at least. Drawing attention while Queenix creeps, and George is not going to be ready for it.
Oh.
The two-man spray down. They've stolen the round. They had no right to win that round, but they have forced it back to 14 apiece.
Quiet game from Queenix, but he makes up with it with a massive flank timing through middle. And Crown just continuing to put in work. That is a massive boon for HexTATIC. They avoid map point. They pick up themselves a couple of guns.
That's robotic, that was. Absolutely robotic.
I was thinking at that exact moment, man, Hex has really been putting in work this map, and he instantly gets one tapped. I've passed the cursed him in my mind.
The least likely round secured by HexTATIC, keeping EG off that game point. Coming to life, impact frags from Queenix. And here comes the aggression again from the CC side. Flashes as well. Walco had half a chance, hasn't gone his way. Hex is here though, Manx is traded. Do HexTATIC need to do more at this point? And a 4v4 early.
We saw Manx get out of lane after finding that pick earlier on. This time he pushes the issue a little bit more, and now that makes things awkward for HexTATIC in this 4-on-4. Limited utility. They're going to stay active, I think, here, James. Mid-round push. Down ramp, perhaps, with 3 players.
Looks like it. Not sure if that flash went deep enough, but they don't fire a gun. That's the important thing. Rush keeping an eye on things just as he looks away. Manages to escape, and have a look at this rotation then from HexTATIC. What does Queenix do in the meantime? He's got no utility on A to slow them down by any means. So he's going to have to frag out. They are poking forward, clearing Donut very quickly indeed, actually. Keeps an eye on Nodius on the radar. In the meantime, Queenix does have an angle. His teammates buy CT as well. A big boost. They just can't find an angle on anybody just yet. No, down goes Nodius. That flank has been dealt with. Queenix now has to deliver again. It's so awkward. It's a team frag. Team kill from Salazar. This one isn't going the way they expected. Not like this. Surely HexTATIC, the pistol from Crown as he finds a second on the bomb site. Has he done enough though? Down to Salazar, 1 versus 2. He has a kit this time, and he's focusing on it. Oh, there's a quick peek and a quick scope. Onto George, down to the pistol. Junior will trade. Game point EG.
What a mess. Oh, Salazar, that's rough, man. Report him? Yeah, maybe. Map point now for EG. Money's going to be a little bit better on HexTATIC because they won with the pistols, so 3 of them will actually have a bit of cash here, whereas they would usually be facing a reset, but it's still awkward nonetheless. Nodius doesn't even have a primary weapon. You're going to see him juggle the M4 at least as makes do with the 5-7 mid-aggression straight away from HexTATIC again here, James.
Big pressure for HexTATIC. The judges thought this one would be free. Looking to be very expensive for them at the moment.
Look at EG. They are sitting back, hands off the mouse and keyboard, saying, sure, use all your util in the early round. We are going to be chilling. 1 minute 10 on the clock. We got plenty of time to work the map. We got a massive util advantage. We got a slight gun advantage. Now they're going to start their approach. Utility to clear out the close angles, flash over the top to minimize the risk. They are working this map.
You see Hex is just holding passively in case there's any forward play elsewhere by HexTATIC as well. EG so comfortable right now on Ancient. 45 seconds on the clock. Almost only guns for HexTATIC. 2 flashes for Salazar. Apart from that, it is just about the lead.
Only kid is on Nodios inside cave, so we'll keep an eye on where that gets dropped. Hex spotting out that player, jump spotting middle. In comes the B execute.
Starting to move through now. Cave will be all important. It might get smoked off actually. We'll have to wait and see. Crown is going to try and do what he can, but it's rushed to fall first. 17 seconds for this bomb plant. Manx can take the risk, moving in with a 5-7, looking for another one. He's got the information at least. George in the smoke, through the smoke, and that's where the chaos can begin. George and Hex remaining 2 versus 3. Behind enemy lines. Will they be ready for George? He's non-believing. Crown's here to cover the body block as it's a full defuse. No challenge, and it will be overtime on the first map.
Yeah, George just taking the risk there, assuming that HexTATIC is going to let the pressure get to them in a tight game. Unfortunately, this time with the man advantage, HexTATIC feeling comfortable enough to get that defuse off. And that's going to be a massive sigh of relief for them, because they have taken so many ecos in the late rounds of that CT half. They had to save 4, 5, 6 times. I lost count. But now that we're into OT, they got a new lease on life.
Who's going to see first? Not going to be Hex then, because Manx is here to save Queenix. There's the aggression from HexTATIC. Only practically 1 round did we see that in mid, and in overtime, they will turn up the heat immediately. Figuratively and literally. Crown swinging through. Crown, so dangerous for HexTATIC. He'll be traded, but HexTATIC have the man advantage still. Salazar creeping, sorry, Nodius creeping close to Walco. Committed now with that molly up, but he'll be dealt with handily by Walco. Still over a minute in this 3-on-3 for EG.
That's exactly what they were looking for. Smoke to top middle. It's the 2nd or 3rd time you've seen HexTATIC be a little over aggressive, taking the one-on-one duel in a man advantage situation over towards cheater or lane side, and they've been punished for it yet again. And now EG, a much more winnable prospect in this 3-on-3. The CT player with the furthest forward position dealt with, and that's why HexTATIC are looking for information. It's contact play in towards middle might be exactly what they're looking for.
Splitting up now as they go either way. Salazar round the back has all the util for HexTATIC. Might have something to offer on this bomb side if he can get in position. Indeed he can, to deploy that incendiary, slow things down, buy time for the rotation. George looking left and right, and that gives Queenix an opportunity. Bomb not planted just yet. Momentum with HexTATIC to some degree. Walco could have had that one. That's a brutal loss, and Junior, after planting the bomb, can't get his shot off fast enough. First round goes to the CCs.
Good decision in the mid to late round. And that's something that you've got to give HexTATIC credit for. They are very active on that CT side once they start to lack information. I don't think I've seen as many flanks on the CT side from any team in recent memory. EG almost giving that one a crack. But again, like I said, this flank play through middle from Queenix, super, super crucial. Couple of key multi-frags that have secured rounds here or there for HexTATIC, despite the fact that he's having a bit of a slower day at the office. EG mixing things up. They're going to go for this A execute. It's just Salazar here on his lonesome. HexTATIC have taken all of middle and lane and seen absolutely nothing.
But EG have been very passive over towards B in the past, so that might slow down the rotation, although they'll have 2 plays in Donut. Salazar losing his angles. The utility is very good, and so are the AKs for EG. Fighting for a tight score once again, but Nodius has got something to say about that. It's only Nodius and Salazar now. Frags keep coming for EG. Great executes into the A bomb site. A sudden round from them will prove very fruitful indeed, as Nodius finds himself alone. Has to go for it. Won't work out, of course. Too many man on road, and we're tied once more.
Could see what the HexTATIC boys were trying to go for there. They love this flood play on the CT side, especially early round. You know, a lot of teams quite happy to play passively against executes, especially when they're out of position. Could see Salazar scrambling to get back in temple there, and you'd assume to yourself, even playing against them, all right, we've taken the site here, the execute's going well, we can probably set up for the post plants. HexTATIC, they love to get active even when they're out of position, flash their way into the site while you're trying to get comfortable and just break the round down from there.
Nice opening from Walco. EG continuing the momentum, but Manx will fight back, but Rush is here to trade, and so is Nodius. HexTATIC, right place, right time to keep the numbers close at the very least. A pop flash coming into mid will be avoided. They'll avoid losing another player as well. Salazar posting up now with some fast kills, leaving Junior in situ. He's got a good angle, but he needs Salazar to walk back into his scope. Salazar mixing it up though, and that will put them in the lead at half-time. They'll change sides over to the T side now for HexTATIC.
They're going to be happy with that, though. Especially, like I said, they were really strung out in terms of the economy that half. They were constantly taking ecos. As soon as they get full util, as soon as they can put an AWP together consistently, HexTATIC, they get themselves a 2-1 lead, a much more fruitful overtime than they had compared to what they were able to put together in regulation.
First team to 19, as it says on the top of the HUD, to take this first map.
HexTATIC maybe with this pick of Ancient, hoping for a bit of an easier affair, but EG really putting up a fight. Walco looking for exactly that over towards Cheetah side, but this progression utility smoke traded by the CTs is actually going to keep the Ts at arm's length. Really nice util timing there for Walco.
Rush still lurking around Red Room. So much pre-fire from these AKs. Walco playing dangerous game here. Not an easy position, but they line up perfectly, rings their bells and follows up immediately. Collects two. Instant response from kraghen. He's got some work to do now to try and get his team back into this one. EG started dropping then, 3-on-3. Bomb over towards the B bomb site. Maybe heard rotating away by HexT. But they're rotating to get into position to try and throw some grenades. And there'll be an engagement on that bomb site. And that is the bomb collected then by EG. Heading towards a tied score. And there it is. Georgia, the last one, 17 apiece.
That's pure rifling prowess out of the boys that used to cut their teeth over in Premier together. HexT and Walco both delivering a multi-frag that round, which completely changes the game.
They just swung so close to each other, too close. Down to the wire again, all advantages gone. One of these teams needs both rounds, otherwise overtime will continue.
Seeing in overtime here.
Ooh, that's a meaty grenade.
Yeah, really nice. In from ramp side there. Both teams aware of each other's tendencies here. Trading utility across the map, here and there. One or two smokes, one or two Molotovs trying to eke out small advantages. Here's a fake onto B. Trying to draw out a utility dump from the CT side and maybe an extra rotation or two, and that's exactly what they're getting. But HexTATIC now with 5 grenades across the whole team, a full util set on Salazar, but that is it.
Who gets the first advantage then? kraghen always in that solo position. Got to have your good spatial awareness, and he certainly does. Always a standout for HexTATIC, 27 kills. And counting, 40 seconds left. HexTATIC creeping into the B bomb site as we can see, but where is the bomb headed? This could get really weird because they found 2 kills. Oh, it's disaster! They got 2 kills on the B bomb site just as the bomb moves into mid, and the bomb is lost. That timing couldn't be worse for HexTATIC. 25 seconds to try and get this bomb back. And look at the setup from EG immediately. Queenix will be really key as Junior is blind. They're all falling now. Rush needs this one as well. Running out of bullets, trying to get around the corner, but he can't. A back and forth affair. Mayhem in that round.
Junior so ready for that top mid lurk. But this is exactly what I mean about HexTATIC's playstyle. How often do you play against a team that stays in a 1-1-3 for the whole round? They're applying pressure to that B site for such a long time. Literally 40 seconds where they're double pumping and execute. Just trying to draw out a reaction from EG. And kraghen doesn't get anything done with his lurk, but Queenix late through Donut saves that round for HexTATIC. Feel bad for Junior. He was trying to throw a flash over towards lane side, which ended up flashing himself, and then Queenix peeks him from Donut on one of the latest lurks you'll ever see. Map point now for HexTATIC. They would have hoped this game would go a little easier for him.
They really dodged the bullet there. 2-pronged assault into the site. 2 frags. And immediately the bomb is lost in mid. But imagine that from EG's perspective. Still losing the round there. That's got to be crushing, but they've got to focus on this one. They still have a chance. Hex moving forward. Was he spotted there? His teammates may be coming in to help now. Walco will trade that kill. Super important. And Hex is here also as Manx tries to make a play. This one might be going even longer. But HexTATIC still have a chance to turn things around, but they may have to wait a while with all this utility dump around this B bomb site.
Again, you can see HexTATIC trying to flood against the execute from the CT side. I was wondering if they knew kraghen was in cheetah. That's an oversight from Walco.
Beautiful from HexT. Point of no return for him then, but he has all the information. He sees the last two players, and EG can use that. Then they've got windows. Rush jumps up to take one in the face. Not like this, surely. Question now is, where is Junior?
So many key kills from kraghen. In this round, it could be just enough to put them across the line. HexTATIC getting super comfy in this A site, flanked through mid from Junior.
Going straight into his direction. kraghen runs to his demise. Question is, where is Salazar? Orb versus Orb. Flashes in the right place. Salazar falls back. That's a good angle for him. Right eye peek as well. The more range, the better. The more difficult it is for Junior. Misses the flash. I can't believe it. Overtime number 2 is here. The margins in these rounds, the back and forth, the seesaw, the pendulum, whatever you want to call it. Unreal.
True. He'll be in a little bit later. Probably tomorrow. kraghen almost dug them out of that one. Unbelievable.
Lovely.
You got to give credit.
That shot. That must have been nervous territory for Salazar, but either way, here we are in overtime number 2.
I mean, credit to Junior, his flash usage in that clutch and the patience as well was excellent.
I think it's psychological warfare at this point. Just having the temerity to continue to perform with these narrow margins, these opportunities that come and go for both squads. Has he got the flicks now, Salazar? Will there be another peak? Very dangerous territory, these angles, but Junior has found an opening and another one.
That's 30.
Bearing in mind, Salazar's missed in that last round, that would have secured the map. Now to go down like this as well, trying to trade that frag. Pressure will continue. Pressure might be crushing at this point, as we are in very deep waters.
And we just have to keep asking for more from kraghen. Every time HexTATIC goes down, this man starts digging them out of the hole.
"40 seconds left, trying to buy some time, but he can't help his teammates. They still have a numbers advantage, though. In general, 5-on-3. 3 of HexTATIC trying to make something happen. George, be careful. Falling back. He needs to stay alive now. He's got to buy some time as his teammate's been dropped, and so is he. 3-on-3. No response from EG. Hold on a second. That's a bomb plant. Denied. Almost 15 seconds on the clock, and Walco is just waiting for them to rotate to that bomb. Nodius alone. Does he go for the plant? Does he go for the frags? Hex charges in and will deny him the opportunity, and EG take the first.
Hex putting in work this game. 34 kills from the man. He's just consistently putting frags in there. He's had a couple of key entries, but I don't remember a whole lot of his kills. Just means that he's doing his job as a rifler. You know, you remember the flashy Junior flicks, but don't remember a HexT kill.
I love that angle from Junior, because everybody on that T side is looking to Junior's left, where HexT is hiding in the corner. That's where all those kills come in from. But anyway, a fast one from HexTATIC. Rush is here to try and hold the map control. He'll put a smoke up and put HexTATIC in a really bad situation if they want to continue this push.
I'm going to cancel. We've seen that a couple of times from them. Actually, same protocol from them the last time George went for that aggression on the extremity. He's often feeling a little curious, but in this case, HexTATIC going to slow things down, work their way all the way back through spawn. EG, in the meanwhile, though, have not actually taken a whole lot of map control. Sometimes in these situations, you'd expect a CT bottom mid, maybe deep in cheetah. they've actually been quite reserved, and that actually doesn't offer them a whole lot of information and means that they're likely going to play this round at a disadvantage. A 4-on-2 into the site is going to be a difficult prospect for them to hold.
Execute on B then. Walco is committed. He's also on fire, and now he is dead.
Wow.
That is a great response from HexTATIC. Mid-round course after the failure towards the A bomb site. They're in a very luxurious position now.
And that's exactly why you see mid-round aggression from the CTs in these kind of rounds. You cannot play without any information like that and expect to hold the map. It's not going to work.
2 versus 4. EG moving through. They know there's an AWP somewhere. Could be very expensive for them. So far, so good though. Junior with great cover as Rush goes for the reload. They've both got kits. That bomb is ticking though. Rush looks to his left, kill from his right. And surely Junior can't do this one. Going shotgun mode. He will be denied. HexTATIC come back. 19 apiece.
Had a lot of tight games at this tournament so far. A lot of comebacks. Don't know what it is about Melbourne. Always provides us some bangers. This execute was picture perfect from HexTATIC.
That second kill was great from Nodia. So clean as well. Flow state on the bomb site. You can see the frustrations now. He won't be the only one on either side. Again, HexTATIC going for a similar one. Will they have more success this time? They are booking it straight into the A bomb site, lining up for George, who only comes away with one. Rush's got a great angle though, and needs to stay alive. Limited in his movement, and Molly behind him. Okay, he'll go fighting once again, eliminated by Crown. It's been so important for HexTATIC. Great mollies, denying space for their opponent. Giving them the space to try and plant the bomb. You can see Salazar posted up for cover. Should it be required? Junior looking for some skin. But it's Salazar who gets it. Hext alone now, 1v3. Oh, Salazar runs into the bullets basically. Waiting for a repeat. Salazar doesn't need to though. He's got great cover. He knows there's a trade frag to up Hext. Trying to find some of Salazar. Oh. There's 2. Bomb ticking. He has time though, but can he draw Nodius out? That's the question. Nodius can wait. He can peek occasionally. The smoke is here though. There's a flash as well. He's got to hold it. He has to hold it. Nodius is so blind. Surely not. I can't believe he's done it. A daylight robbery from EG as we change halves.
That's going to be so demoralizing. What a sequence from Hex though. Running across the AWPing line, baits out the shot. You can see the face palms out from HexTATIC, the coach, trying to get the mental back together.
Is there a doctor on the plane? Is there a therapist in the crowd? Because this is stressful.
Mid-aggression again from HexTATIC this time. Gonna work their way up into lane. Walco to contest.
EG, maybe a leaf out of HexTATIC's book. Salazar misses the shot now, and that gives EG some space.
Oh.
He goes back for another one, and Hex says no in the most violent fashion. Junior creeping. They've got to be careful now, HexTATIC. EG trying to do what they can again, but Queenix has found a kill. That's bought him some time. No bomb plant, and it's collapsing. The dream is collapsing again. 2v4.
Oh, Rush and Walco in another postcode here, James. They thought the site was free. That's a big pick from Walco, though. Starting to chip down the numbers.
And there's time. He can show presence here. HexTATIC will be very concerned about where Rush is, while Walco is a known quantity in this mid position. So much time on the clock now. Walco disappeared, but he's starting to creep again as he go wider. Looking high, but he'll bring his crosshair low enough to drop Queenix. And now we're 2-on-2. And still, they don't know where Rush is. Walco continuing to entertain. He's got a cocktail sticks out. Rush in the 1v2 now. Time to get to work, but Manx will deny him. And we're tied again. I don't know how many times we've been at parity, but here we are once more.
Could be on for another OT. And 2 in a row for either one of these teams to take it, but if they go one apiece, it's going to be another. Group in overtime. Mid-aggression mixed in that time from HexTATIC, and a bit of a quicker play from EG. See how they tempered themselves this time. Looks like a bit more priority for HexTATIC pushed over towards this B side of the map, and they're going to leave A little bit more dry. EG, do they contest middle this time around? In comes the wrap straight down lane. The counter flashes are not good enough. Good trades in from EG though.
Bomb hasn't been seen just yet. Numbers dwindling for HexTATIC. Again, Crown depended upon to be a hell of a factor for HexTATIC. He needs to be here. Salazar still has a gap.
Ooh.
Hex thought the smoke was covering his path. That clearly isn't the case. Big flash as Crown tries to pre-fire Junior. There it is, 2-on-2 now. As he's able to fall back enough to get the reload in, you can see Rush really chasing for that one, but he's got to plant the bomb as well. George creeping focus on that donut, but Kraghen will continue. He knows where George is now, and he'll get another one. 3 in a round for Crown. Unbelievable.
Just the king in the server right now, almost on for a 40 bomb. And that's demoralizing for EG, losing a 2-on-4 in the blink of an eye. Sure, the first kill that Salazar picks up is due to the fact that the smoke doesn't dissipate the way that you expected it to. Oh, sorry, it doesn't bloom the way you expected it to, but Crown in donut there, just having a bloody meal. 3-piece feed. EG now. Up against the ropes. They put in so much work this map. Either team losing a multi-OT game like this is going to be difficult to recover from. So much energy exerted early on, Bardolph.
Yeah. This is how you lose your appetite. Dropping a map like this, where both teams have had so much opportunity to close things out.
Pacifist approach to this round. Both teams hands off middle, waiting for one of the others to aggress at a flash or two in the early to mid round. In comes the progression utility from EG in towards both middle and Cheetah as they try to take some control of the middle of the map.
More or less smokes and mollies remaining for HexTATIC at this point. EG will be far better equipped despite being around out. 1 minute on the clock will be plenty of time. All 10 players still on the server, but as you can see, the heat map is getting hotter and hotter on one of these 2 bomb sites. HexTATIC falling back somewhat. Well, they're being very active, actually. Max and Salazar have decided that they want to have a go, and that is a great response, putting themselves in a very good position. 5-on-3 at game point in this first one. Rush force through the molly, taken so much damage, and Nodius will have an easy cleanup. 3-on-2 now. There has been some work done here by EG, but these positions of HexTATIC are brutal. Oh, he's nosed it right up, and now Junior's in the clutch. 1v2. He's got to find this kill. Focused in. 20 seconds. Doesn't know where the last player is. It's Crown, of course. He's seen him now. Shotgun mode with the AWP. Crown's around the corner. 14 seconds, and he's whiffed it. HexTATIC take the map.
Oh my God, EG really put them through their paces though. A really tight, draining map of Counter-Strike, but HexTATIC just barely managed to scrape it through on their map pick. This is going to be a hell of a series.
Massive.